What's going on, everyone? Alan here, aka the Bird Bay, and in this quick video I wanted to talk about the one person bird fix. Now, I get this question and comment all the time on Instagram, on YouTube comments, and people are asking me, Alan, my parrot will not let anybody else but me touch him or take care of him, and basically he just bites or doesn't want anything or doesn't want to do anything with anyone or wants nothing to do with anyone, so to speak, right? Sometimes some of you might have kids, might have family members that, for whatever reason, your husband or your wife or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, the parrot takes a preference to one family member or one individual, and then when it comes to everybody else, he or she, your parrot, wants nothing to do with them, right? So I'm going to talk about a couple tips on how I helped Elfie kind of get away from becoming or being a one-person bird. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button if you want to see more cute videos of Elfie. Now, let's be real. The reason why we're here is not to hear me talk. It's for this little guy to see Elfie, right? Everybody loves Elfie. So, that being said, back in the day when I first got Elfie, he was very shy, and he used to bite the heck out of me as well. So it's not just anybody else. But basically, as he started warming up to me and he started hanging out with me and getting to know me a little bit better, he liked my girlfriend more, but he had a preference for me in a weird way. So he'd always be happy and excited around her, but what ended up happening is when my girlfriend would come around, she would try to pick him up, and then all of a sudden, his eyes would get really small, he'd get excited, and then wham, he'd take a bite out of her, and it would lead her to, naturally be like, oh my God, and want to flick him off. Or she would try to carry him around the house or put him back on his cage, and what would happen is Elfie would then get upset and attack her or bite her, further kind of reinforcing and creating that feedback loop. Now, I don't know about you guys, but maybe you had some type of similar experience where your husband or a guy comes over, a girl comes over, and it has a preference for example, some people say, oh, my parrot only likes men, or this parrot only likes women. And if it's not a woman, he's not going to like him or he's going to bite him. So this could be true, but we have to understand we sometimes do things to make parrots one-person birds. And the reality is that parrots in the wild, they tend to bond with one other parrot, usually for life. So that tendency is already instilled in them, right? And they're not domesticated, meaning that they're still wild. They have no real desire to want to be with us. Theoretically speaking, aside from us giving them food, safety, and making them feel happy, basically. Not like cats or dogs, right? Or dogs more specifically. So with that being said, when it comes to a parrot having a tendency to become a one-person bird, I can see where that happens, right? We can see where that happens. But what ends up happening is if you are the only person that cares for your bird, that interacts with the bird, that feeds the bird, that trains the bird, that takes the bird out, well, naturally the bird is going to become a one-person bird, one-person parrot. So what I started to do with my girlfriend and what I do with friends and other people that come over, so that Elfie becomes more socialized and he's okay with being handled by multiple people, and generally Elfie's pretty tame. So that always helps. And if you haven't checked out that video on how to tame your parrot and reduce aggression, I highly recommend you check that out in the video section of the channel. But aside from that, basically what I would do and what I recommend you can start trying is whenever a new person comes over or somebody that your parrot doesn't know, have them come over to the cage and give them treats, give them small treats. That way your parrot starts basically understanding and associating strangers with positive things. So when somebody new comes over, they're not bad. It usually means that they're going to give me treats. So you associate the new person or new people that come around your parrot with positive reinforcement, right? When we train parrots, we 80% of the time want to lead with positive reinforcement, and the strongest positive reinforcement that you can give your parrot believe it or not, it's going to be food, and specifically treats. Now, this is going to work best if your parrot doesn't have access to treats all the time and it's not on a seed and treat diet, right? We've got to make sure they're on a good diet. That way, when you bring those treats around, whether it's for training or for socializing your parrot, it has a high value, or it values that treat very highly, right? So with that being said, that's what I started doing with Elfie. When friends come over, even to this day, I have them, tell Elfie to spin or to whistle or to wave, and then I make sure that they give him treats. And I encourage it because this helps Elfie associate new people equals not bad things, right? And this is how you start getting your parrot away from becoming a one person bird. Another thing that I started to do with family members or people who live with me, specifically my girlfriend. Elfie likes my girlfriend, but sometimes he gets excited and he can't help himself, and he acts like he wants to bite her. And it's not necessarily a bite out of anger, it's a bite out of excitement. So you can get different types of behaviors depending on who comes around, and it just triggers them for your parrot. Like sometimes you might have your kid run over, and when the kid runs over or walks by, it wants to bite you, right? So anyway, what you can then do, and what I did, was I started having my girlfriend train Elfie and have those parrot training sessions the way that I do. So basically, I started having her come in with his favorite treats, have her do short flight recalls with them, have her do trick training to bond with Elfie, have her also do little commands like spin, whistle, all these different things. And what ended up happening over time is now when she comes around, Elfie gets excited, he opens up and wants her to pet him. In addition to that, he doesn't go to bite her when she picks her up. Usually when you pick up a parrot or somebody else picks up a parrot and the parrot bites that person, clearly that's going to be an indication that the parrot doesn't want that person to hold it, and it's trying to bite you to communicate with you or with that person to put me down or to do whatever it wants, because parrot biting is a way of communication in the wild, right? So if you don't read the signs in between that usually leads up to biting, the only last resort that the parrot's going to have is to bite in order to communicate is through physical pain, and we don't want that, right? So I highly recommend that when you go out, socialize your parrot, have people give your parrot treats, have people hold your parrot, interact with your parrot, assuming that it's tame and it's not going to be extremely aggressive toward you, because if it's aggressive toward you, then there are first other things that we need to work on, which is taming and training your parrot to not be aggressive with you. And once you've mastered that, we can start moving into teaching your parrot to socialize and to be okay with other people holding it, interacting with it. And one of the best things you can do, positive reinforcement with treats. And in addition to that, have close household members that you want to have your parrot have a good relationship with. Start implementing the trick training or recall, whatever training sessions you have with your parrot. Have them do some of those sessions. Doesn't have to be all the time, but let's say that 80% of the time you do the sessions, and then slowly you start having your other family member do 20% of those sessions. And depending on where your parrot's at, right? If your parrot really hates this person, then you're probably going to want to have the parrot work with this person a little bit more, little by little, and work your way up, a little bit more sessions with that person. If your parrot likes you slightly more than somebody else in the household, then you can have the parrot do a little bit less training sessions with the person that you're trying to get it to like, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to stop training your parrot completely. You're just incorporating other people, or the people that you want your parrot to also have a good relationship with, into its life, which can include little things like feeding it, changing its water bowl, changing out its cage, occasional interactions, and positive reinforcement with treats. So anyway, just wanted to make this quick training video and this quick video to tell you a little bit more about that. That's some of the things that I've done that's really helped my girlfriend develop a better relationship with Elfie, to where he doesn't bite her anymore, where he is open to letting her scratch him on the head. And in addition to that, is just more than willing to do training sessions with her the way that he is willing to do with me. So that's what I recommend that you can try to get away from the one person bird problem that I hear a lot of different parrot owners have. And an interesting thing to note is when you have a baby parrot, what you'll notice if you have baby parrots, that they are probably going to have, they're not going to have a preference for one person or the other yet. This usually happens when we start transitioning into adulthood. Then they become more assertive with their boundaries. They start selecting a mate, and not necessarily selecting a mate, but selecting somebody that they like to bond with more. And it's ironic that sometimes you'll do all the work, you'll change out your parrot's food, you'll feed it, you'll try to give it lubbies, and it just somehow likes another person more. And that's not to say that it's gonna like everyone equally forever. The reality is parrots are still gonna have a preference. You know, sometimes we can't control that too much, but we work with what we have so that, you know, at the end of the day, everybody has a good relationship with your parrot. And what we're trying to do is prevent, you know, people and yourself and other parrot owners from having a parrot with non-ideal behavior and having to rehome it long term or get rid of it, which, you know, you hear so much about. And there's so many people out there that own parrots at one point and then they end up giving them up, rehoming them and taking them to rescues, and this kind of further perpetuates the cycle of non-ideal parrot behavior, you know, just moving from home to home. And that's clearly what we're trying to reduce. So with that being said, that's it for this quick video. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments section what else you would like to learn about when it comes to parrot behavior, training, flight recall, nutrition. Let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to check out Elfie's and I's Instagram in the description below. Thank you for your time, and we will see you guys next time.